Great music you need to know about. In this day and age, there are so many artists who are not known. In this article I will detail various artists, whether they are classic greats who impacted music and artists, the world over, and across generations. Like AC/DC Elvis Presley, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Or they are unique artists who create music that is uncommon in this time. Like Sabaton, Corpse Husband, or Wind Rose. This is not a top list, just a collection of singers and groups I want to talk about. The list will be alphabetical, but only so that I can reduce the risk of putting them into the article multiple times. Please excuse any mispronunciations by TTS. The English TTS has trouble with non-English words. But, if you watch Zentreya, you should be fine. As a result of YouTube's rules pertaining to links in descriptions, I will be adding site details to the video.
Alice in Chains, often abbreviated as AIC, is an American rock band formed in Seattle in 1987. Since 2006, the band's lineup has comprised vocalist, guitarists Jerry Cantrell, and William Duval, bassist Mike Inez, and drummer Sean Kinney. Vocalist Lane Staley, and bassist Mike Starr are former members of the band. The band took its name from Staley's previous band, Alice in Chains. Often associated with grunge music, Alice in Chains' sound and style is deeply rooted in heavy metal. The band is known for its distinctive vocal style, which often included the harmonized vocals between Staley and Cantrell, and later Cantrell and Duval. Alice in Chains rose to international fame as part of the grunge movement of the early 1990s, along with other Seattle bands such as Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Soundgarden. They achieved success during the era with the albums Facelift, 1990, Dirt, 1992 and Alice in Chains, 1995, as well as the extended play Jar of Flies, 1994. The band was plagued by extended inactivity from 1996 onward, largely due to Staley's substance abuse, which resulted in his death in 2002, and caused the band to go on hiatus. Alice in Chains regrouped in 2005, with Duval joining in 2006, as rhythm guitarist, and sharing lead vocal duties. The band has since released 3 more albums: Black Gives Way to Blue, 2009, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, 2013 and Rainier Fog, 2018. Since its formation, Alice in Chains has released 6 studio albums, 3 EPs, 3 live albums, 4 compilations, 2 DVDs, 43 music videos and 32 singles. The band has sold more than 30 million records worldwide, and over 20 million records in the US alone. It has had 18 top 10 songs on Billboard's mainstream rock tracks chart, and 5 #1 hits, and has received 11 Grammy Award nominations. The band was ranked number 34 on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Hard Rock special, and as the 15th greatest live band by Hit Parader. History: 1984–1989. Formation and early years. Before the formation of Alice in Chains, Lane Staley, a drummer at the time, landed his first gig as a vocalist, when he auditioned to sing for a local glam metal band known as Slurs, after receiving some encouragement from his stepbrother, Ken Elmer. Other members of this group at that time were guitarists Johnny Bakerless and Zolly Simonate, drummer James Bergstrom, and bassist Byron Hansen. This band went through several lineup changes, culminating with Nick Pollock as their sole guitarist, and Bakerless switching to bass before discussions arose about changing their name to Alice in Chains. This was prompted by a conversation that Bakerless had with Russ Klatt, the lead singer of Slaughterhouse-5, about backstage passes. One of the passes said, "Welcome to Wonderland," and they started talking about that being a reference to Alice in Wonderland. Bakerless liked the name, Alice in Chains, and brought it up to his bandmates. They agreed and decided to change the band's name. Due to concerns over the reference to female bondage, the group ultimately chose to spell it differently as Alice in Chains, to allay any parental concerns, though Staley's mother Nancy McCallum has said she was still not happy with this name at first. According to Bakerless, the decision to use the '"N" combination in their name had nothing to do with the band Guns N' Roses. The name change happened a year before Guns N' Roses became a household name with their first album, Appetite for Destruction, released in July 1987. Staley met guitarist Jerry Cantrell at a party in Seattle around August 1987. A few months prior, Cantrell had watched a concert of Alice in Chains in his hometown at the Tacoma Little Theatre, and was impressed by Staley's voice. Cantrell was homeless after being kicked out of his family's house, so Staley invited Cantrell to live with him at the rehearsal studio Music Bank. Alice in Chains soon disbanded, and Staley joined a funk band. Cantrell's band, Diamond Lie, broke up, and he wanted to form a new band, so Staley gave him the phone number of Melinda Starr, the girlfriend of drummer Sean Kinney, so that Cantrell could set up a meeting with Kinney. Kinney and his girlfriend went to the Music Bank, and listened to Cantrell's demos, who mentioned that they needed a bass player to jam with them, and he had someone in mind, Mike Starr, with whom Cantrell had played in a band in Berrien called Gypsy Rose. 23. Kinney mentioned that his girlfriend was actually Mike Starr's sister, and that he had been playing in bands together with Starr since they were kids. Kinney called Starr, and a few days later he started jamming with him and Cantrell at the Music Bank. Staley's funk band also required a guitarist at the time, and Staley asked Cantrell to join as a sideman. Cantrell agreed on condition that Staley join his band. Because Cantrell, Starr, and Kinney wanted Staley to be their lead singer, they started auditioning terrible lead singers in front of Staley to send a hint. When they auditioned a male stripper, Staley decided to join the band. Eventually the funk project broke up, and in 1987 Staley joined Cantrell's band on a full-time basis. 2 weeks after the band's formation, they were playing a gig at Washington State University, trying to fill in a 40-minute set with a couple of original songs along with Hanoi Rocks and David Bowie covers. The band played a couple of gigs in clubs around the Pacific Northwest, calling themselves different monikers, including Diamond Lie, the name of Cantrell's previous band, and Fuck, before eventually adopting the name that Staley's previous band had initially flirted with, Alice in Chains. Staley contacted his former bandmates, and asked for permission to use the name. Nick Pollock was not particularly thrilled about it at the time, and thought he should come up with a different name. Both he and James Bergstrom ultimately gave Staley their blessing to use the name. Local promoter Randy Houser became aware of the band at a concert, and offered to pay for demo recordings. However, one day before the band was due to record at the Music Bank studio in Washington, police shut down the studio during the biggest cannabis raid in the history of the state. The final demo, completed in 1988, was named the Treehouse Tapes, and found its way to music managers Kelly Curtis and Susan Silver, who also managed the Seattle-based band Soundgarden. Curtis and Silver passed the demo on to Columbia Records, A&R representative Nick Terzo, who set up an appointment with label president Donnie Enner. Based on the Treehouse Tapes, Terzo signed Alice in Chains to Columbia in 1989. 1990-1992. Facelift, and SAP. Alice in Chains soon became a top priority of the label, which released the band's first official recording in July 1990, a promotional EP called We Die Young. The EP's lead single, We Die Young, became a hit on metal radio. After its success, the label rushed Alice in Chains' debut album into production, with producer Dave Jordan. Cantrell stated the album was intended to have a moody aura that was a direct result of the brooding atmosphere and feel of Seattle. The resulting album, Facelift, was released on the 21st of August 1990, peaking at number 42 in the summer of 1991 on the Billboard 200 chart. Facelift was not an instant success, selling under 40,000 copies in the first 6 months of release, until MTV added Man in the Box to regular daytime rotation. The single hit number 18 on the mainstream rock charts, with the album's follow-up single, Sea of Sorrow, reaching number 27, and in 6 weeks Facelift sold 400,000 copies in the US. The album was a critical success. Sammy Hagar claimed he invited the band to tour with Van Halen after he saw the music video for Man in the Box on MTV. Facelift was certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIA, for selling 500,000 copies on the 11th of September 1991, becoming the first album from Seattle's grunge movement to be certified gold. The band continued to hone its audience, opening for such artists as Iggy Pop, Van Halen, Poison, and Extreme. Facelift has since been certified triple platinum by the RIA, for shipments of 3 million copies in the United States. The concert at the Moore Theatre in Seattle on the 22nd of December 1990 was recorded Iggy Pop Poison and released on VHS on the 30th of July, 1991, as live facelift. It features 5 live songs and 3 music videos. The home video has been certified gold by the RIAA, for sales exceeding 50,000 copies. In early 1991, Alice in Chains landed the opening slot for the Clash of the Titans tour, with Anthrax, Megadeth, and Slayer, exposing the band to a wide metal audience, but receiving mainly poor reception. Alice in Chains was nominated for a Best Hard Rock Performance Grammy Award in 1992 for Man in the Box. Following the tour, Alice in Chains entered the studio to record demos for its next album, but ended up recording 5 acoustic songs instead. While in the studio, drummer Sean Kinney had a dream about making an EP called Sap. The band decided not to mess with fate, and on the 4th of February 1992, Alice in Chains released their second EP, Sap. The EP was released while Nirvana's Nevermind was at the top of the Billboard 200 charts, resulting in a rising popularity of Seattle-based bands, and of the term, grunge music. Sap was certified gold within 2 weeks. The EP features Cantrell on lead vocals on the opening track, Brother, and guest vocals by Ann Wilson from the band Heart, who joined Staley and Cantrell for the choruses of Brother and Am I Inside. The EP also features Mark Arm of Mudhoney and Chris Cornell of Soundgarden, who shared vocals with Staley and Cantrell on the song Right Turn, credited to Alice Margarden in the liner notes. In 1992, Alice in Chains appeared in the Cameron Crowe film Singles, performing as a bar band. The band also contributed the song Wood to the film's soundtrack, whose video received an award for Best Video from a Film at the 1993 MTV Video Music Awards. 1992-1993. Dirt. In March 1992, the band returned to the studio. With new songs written primarily on the road, the material has an overall darker feel than Facelift, with 6 of the album's 13 songs dealing with the subject of addiction. On the 29th of September 1992, Alice in Chains released its second album, Dirt. The album peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200, and since its release has been certified 5 platinum by the RIAA, making Dirt the band's highest-selling album to date. Dirt spawned 5 singles that reached the top 30 on the Billboard mainstream rock chart, Wood, Rooster, Them Bones, Angry Chair, and Down in a Hole, and remained on the charts for nearly 2 years. Alice in Chains was added as openers to Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tours tour. Days before the tour began, Lane Staley broke his foot in an ATV accident, forcing him to use crutches on stage. Starr left the band after the release of Dirt. Starr was replaced by former Ozzy Osbourne bassist Mike Inez. Inez had met Alice in Chains during Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tours tour, and became friends with them. When the band was in Brazil, they called Inez to join them, and he accepted. Inez wanted to do the shows in Brazil, and even got his immunization shots, but the band called him back telling that Starr wanted to do the last 2 shows in Brazil, so they would meet Inez in London instead. Inez ended up getting sick with his vaccination shots for a couple of days. Inez played his first concert with Alice in Chains on the 27th of January 1993, at the Camden Underworld in London. In April 1993, the band recorded 2 songs with Inez, What the Hell Have I, and A Little Bitter, for the Last Action Hero soundtrack. During the summer of 1993, Alice in Chains toured with the alternative music festival Lollapalooza, their last major tour with Staley. 1993-1994. Jar of Flies. Columbia Records released Alice in Chains' second acoustic-based EP, Jar of Flies, on the 25th of January 1994. Written and recorded in 1 week, Jar of Flies debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, becoming the first EP, and first Alice in Chains release, to top the charts. Jar of Flies features Alice in Chains' first number 1 single on the mainstream rock charts, No Excuses. The second single, I Stay Away, reached number 10 on the mainstream rock charts, while the final single, Don't Follow, reached number 25. Jar of Flies has been certified triple platinum by the RIAA, with over 2 million copies sold in the United States during its first year. Jar of Flies received 2 Grammy nominations, Best Hard Rock Performance for I Stay Away, and Best Recording Package. After the release of Jar of Flies, Staley entered rehab for heroin addiction. The band was scheduled to tour during the summer of 1994 with Metallica, Suicidal Tendencies, Danzig, and Fight, as well as a slot during Woodstock '94, but while in rehearsal for the tour, Staley began using heroin again. Staley's condition prompted the other band members to cancel all scheduled dates, one day before the start of the tour, putting the band on hiatus. Alice in Chains was replaced by Candlebox on the tour. Susan Silver's management office sent out a statement saying that the decision to withdraw from the Metallica tour and Woodstock was due to health problems within the band. Shortly after withdrawing, the band broke up for 6 months. 1995–1996. Alice in Chains. While Alice in Chains was inactive during 1995, Staley joined the grunge supergroup Mad Season, which also featured Pearl Jam guitarist Mike McCready, bassist John Baker Saunders from the Walkabouts, and Screaming Trees drummer Barrett Martin. Mad Season released one album, Above, for which Staley provided lead vocals and the album artwork. The album spawned a #2 mainstream rock chart single, River of Deceit, and a home video release of Live at the Moor. In April 1995, Alice in Chains entered Bad Animals studio in Seattle with producer Toby Wright, who had previously worked with Corrosion of Conformity and Slayer. While in the studio, an inferior version of the song Grind was leaked to radio, and received major airplay. On October 6, the band released the studio version of the song to radio via satellite uplink to stem the excessive spread of taped copies of the song. On 7 November 1995, Columbia Records released their self-titled album, Alice in Chains, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and has since been certified triple platinum. Of the album's 4 singles, Grind, Again, Over Now, and Heaven Beside You, 3 feature Cantrell on lead vocals. The band released the home video The Nona Tapes on 12 December, a mockumentary featuring interviews with the band members conducted by journalist Nona Wyborn, played by Jerry Cantrell, and the music video for Grind. The band opted not to tour in support of Alice in Chains, adding to the rumors of drug abuse. The song Got Me Wrong unexpectedly charted 3 years after its release on the SAP EP. The song was re-released as a single on the soundtrack for the film Clerks in 1994, reaching #7 on the mainstream rock tracks chart. Alice in Chains resurfaced on 10 April 1996, to perform for MTV Unplugged, a program featuring all acoustic set lists. The performance featured some of the band's highest charting singles, including Rooster, Down in a Hole, Heaven Beside You, No Excuses, and Wood, and introduced a new song, Killer Is Me, with Cantrell on lead vocals. The show marked Alice in Chains' only appearance as a 5-piece band, adding second guitarist Scott Olson. A live album of the performance was released in July 1996, which debuted at #3 on the Billboard 200, and was accompanied Inez. Cantrell and Kinney were also featured on Metallica's 1998 album Garage Incorporated. Both were guest musicians in the track Tuesday's Gone, a LYNYRD cover. In October 1998, Staley reunited with Alice in Chains to record 2 new songs, Get Born Again and Died. Originally intended for Cantrell's second solo album, the songs were reworked by Alice in Chains and were released in the fall of 1999 on a box set, Music Bank. The set contains 48 songs, including rarities, demos, and previously released album tracks and singles. The band also released a 15-track compilation titled Nothing Safe, Best of the Box, serving as a sampler for Music Bank, as well as the band's first compilation album, a live album, simply titled Live, released on 5 December 2000, and a second compilation, titled Greatest Hits in 2001. In November 1998, Lane Staley recorded a cover of Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall with the supergroup Class of '99. The song was featured on the soundtrack to the 1998 horror/sci-fi film, The Faculty. After they toured as part of Cantrell's solo band in 1998, Sean Kinney and Queensryche guitarist Chris DeGarmo formed a new band called Spies for Darwin. Mike Inez and Sponge lead vocalist Vin Dombrowski joined the supergroup soon after. The band released their first and only album in 2001, a 6-track EP entitled Microfiche. In June 2001, Mike Inez joined Zakk Wylde's Black Label Society for the remaining dates of Ozfest, following the departure of bassist Steve Gadd for medical reasons. Inez joined the band again for their West Coast and Japanese tour in 2003. By 2002, Cantrell had finished work on his second solo album, Degradation Trip. Written in 1998, the album's lyrical content focused heavily on what Cantrell regarded as the demise of Alice in Chains, which still remained evident as the album approached its June 2002 release. After a decade of battling drug addiction, Lane Staley was found dead in his condominium on the 19th of April, 2002. The autopsy and toxicology report revealed that he died from a mixture of heroin and cocaine, known as speedball. The autopsy concluded that Staley died on April 5, 2 weeks before his body was found. Cantrell dedicated his 2002 solo album, Degradation Trip, released 2 months after Staley's death, to his memory. Following Staley's death, Mike Inez joined Heart and toured and recorded with the band from 2002 through 2006. Jerry Cantrell collaborated with several artists such as Heart, Ozzy Osbourne, and Damageplan. In 2004, Cantrell formed the band Cardboard Vampires along with the cult guitarist Billy Duffy, Motley Crue vocalist and Rat guitarist John Corabi, the cult bassist Chris Wyss and drummer Josh Hauser. On the 22nd of October, 2004, Sony BMG terminated their contract with Alice in Chains, 15 years after the band signed with the label, in 1989. 2005-2008. Reunion shows and reformation. Alice in Chains' current lead vocalist, William Duvall, replaced Staley in the reformed band in 2006. In 2005, Sean Kinney came up with the idea of doing a benefit concert for the victims of the tsunami disaster that struck South Asia in 2004. Kinney made calls to his former bandmates, as well as friends in the music community, such as former Alice in Chains manager Susan Silver. Kinney was surprised by the enthusiastic response to his idea. On the 18th of February, 2005, Jerry Cantrell, Mike Inez, and Sean Kinney reunited to perform for the first time in 9 years at K-Rock Tsunami Continued Care Relief Concert in Seattle. The band featured Damageplan vocalist Pat Lachman, as well as other special guests including Maynard James Keenan of Tool and Ann Wilson of Heart. A few months after that experience, the band called Susan Silver and Cantrell's manager Bill Siddons and said they wanted to tour as Alice in Chains again. Alice in Chains was approached by the producers of the CBS reality show Rockstar about being featured on its second season, but the band turned the offer down. In the show, aspiring singers competed to become the lead vocalist of a featured group. On the 10th of March, 2006, the surviving members performed at VH1's Decades Rock Live concert, honoring fellow Seattle musicians Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart. They played Wood with vocalist Phil Anselmo of Pantera and Down and bass player Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver, and at the end of the performance Cantrell dedicated the show to Lane Staley and the late Pantera and Damageplan guitarist Dimebag Darrell. They also played Rooster with Comes with the Fall vocalist William Duvall and Ann Wilson. The band followed the concert with a short United States club tour named Finish What We Started, several festival dates in Europe, and a brief tour in Japan. Duff McKagan again joined the band for the reunion tour, playing rhythm guitar on selected songs. During the tour, the band played a 5-minute video tribute to Staley during the changeover from the electric to acoustic set. To coincide with the band's reunion, Sony Music released the long-delayed third Alice in Chains compilation, The Essential Alice in Chains, a double album that includes 28 songs. Jerry Cantrell met William Duvall in Los Angeles in 2000 through a mutual acquaintance who introduced Cantrell to Comes with the Fall's first album. Cantrell started hanging out with the band and occasionally joined them on stage. Between 2001 and 2002, Comes with the Fall was both the opening act on Cantrell's tour for his second solo album, Degradation Trip, and also his backing band, with Duvall singing Staley's parts at the concerts. Duvall joined Alice in Chains as lead singer during the band's reunion concerts in 2006, and made his first public performance with the band at VH1's Decades Rock Live concert. Cantrell revealed that before he suggested Duvall for the band, Sean Kinney and Mike Inez invited Sponge and Spies for Darwin lead vocalist Vin Dombrowski to jam with the band in their rehearsal space. Dombrowski jammed with them to a couple of original material. They also played a cover of Led Zeppelin's Kashmir while backed by over 200 musicians, including the Northwest Symphony Orchestra and the Northwest Girl Choir. Former The Doors manager Bill Siddons and his management company, Core Entertainment, co-managed Alice in Chains with original manager Susan Silver from 2005 to 2007. The band started writing and demoing songs for a new album with Duval in April 2007. But the band did not show further signs of progress until October 2008, when they announced that they had begun recording with producer Nick Raskulinecz in the studio. 2008-2011. Black Gives Way to Blue and Death of Mike Starr. Blabbermouth.net reported on the 5th of September 2008, that Alice in Chains would enter the studio that October to begin recording a new album for a summer 2009 release. On the 14th of September 2008, Alice in Chains performed at halftime during the Seattle Seahawks vs San Francisco 49ers game at the Quest Field in Seattle. The 12-minute performance for a crowd of 67,000 people featured a cover of Led Zeppelin's Kashmir accompanied by the Northwest Symphony Orchestra. In October 2008, Alice in Chains began recording its fourth studio album at the Foo Fighters Studio 606 in Los Angeles with producer Nick Raskulinecz. The band did not have a record label at the time and the album was funded by Jerry Cantrell and Sean Kinney. At the Revolver Golden God Awards, Cantrell said that the group had finished recording on the 18th of March 2009, and were mixing the album for a September release. The recording process was completed on Cantrell's 43rd birthday and also the same day that William Duval's son was born. In April 2009, it was reported that the new Alice in Chains album would be released by Virgin EMI, making it the band's first label change in its 20-plus year career. Susan Silver, who started managing Alice in Chains in 1988, now co-manages the band with David Benveniste and his Velvet Hammer firm. On the 11th of June, 2009, Blabbermouth.net reported that the new album would be titled Black Gives Way to Blue and was officially set to be released on the 29th of September, 2009. The title first appeared on Amazon.com without any prior announcement from the band. In addition, it was announced that Elton John plays piano on the title track, a tribute to Lane Staley written and sung by Cantrell. The album features new vocalist and rhythm guitarist William Duval sharing vocal duties with lead guitarist-vocalist Jerry Cantrell, who sings lead vocals on most of the songs. Duval sings lead vocals on the song Last of My Kind. On the 30th of June, 2009, the song A Looking in View was made available for purchase via iTunes and Amazon, and for a limited time it was available as a free download through the official Alice in Chains website in early July. Although it was not the album's first radio single, rock stations across the US started playing the song. The music video for A Looking in View debuted via the band's official website on July 7, 2009. The song was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance. Check My Brain was released to radio stations as the first official single from the album on the 14th of August, 2009, and was made available for purchase on the 17th of August, 2009. The music video for Check My Brain premiered on the 14th of September, 2009. The song was also nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance. To promote the album, the band released an EPK featuring all four of the members being interviewed while the Kiss makeup is being applied on them. An app for iPhone was released on the 27th of October, 2009, featuring songs, music videos, news, photos and networking. In September 2008, it was announced that Alice in Chains would headline Australia's Soundwave Festival in 2009, alongside Nine Inch Nails and Lamb of God. In February 2009, it was also announced that Alice in Chains would play at the third annual Rock on the Range Festival. On the 1st of August 2009, Alice in Chains performed, along with Mastodon. Avenged Sevenfold, and Glider, at Marley Park, Dublin as direct support to Metallica. The band made an appearance on Later, with Jools Holland on the 10th of November, 2009, performing Lesson Learned, Black Gives Way to Blue, and Check My Brain as the final performance of the episode. To coincide with the band's European tour, Alice in Chains released its next single, Your Decision, on the 16th of November, 2009, in the UK and on December the 1st in the US. The last single from the album was Lesson Learned, and it was released to rock radio on the 22nd of June, 2010. Black Gives Way to Blue debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200. On the 18th of May, 2010, the album was certified gold by the RIA for selling over 500,000 copies in the US. The singles Check My Brain and Your Decision reached number 1 on Billboard's mainstream rock tracks, while Lesson Learned reached number 4. Check My Brain was also the band's first number 1 song on the Alternative Songs chart, and on the Hot Rock Songs chart, it also reached number 92 on Billboard's Hot 100, becoming the band's first single to appear on the chart. Along with Mastodon and Deftones, Alice in Chains toured the United States and Canada in late 2010 on the Black Diamond Ski Tour, an amalgam of the three bands' latest album titles Black Gives Way to Blue, Diamond Eyes, and Crack the Sky. On the 8th of March, 2011, former Alice in Chains bassist Mike Starr was found dead at his home in Salt Lake City. Police told Reuters they were called to Starr's home at 1:42 p.m. and found his body. Starr was 44. Reports later surfaced that Starr's roommate had seen him mixing methadone and anxiety medication hours before he was found dead. Later reports indicated Starr's death may have been linked to 2 different types of antidepressants prescribed to him by his doctor. A public memorial was held for Starr at the Seattle Center's International Fountain on the 20th of March, 2011. A private memorial was also held, which Jerry Cantrell and Sean Kinney attended according to Mike Inez. 2011-2016. The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. On the 21st of March, 2011, Alice in Chains announced that they were working on a 5th studio album, and both Cantrell and Inez later made statements that they had begun the recording process. The album was expected to be finished by summer of 2012 and released by the end of 2012 or beginning of 2013. While Alice in Chains were writing for the album in 2011, Cantrell underwent surgery on his right shoulder, which delayed recording the new material. Cantrell could not play guitar for 8 months while he was recovering from surgery. While recuperating at home in a sling, Cantrell heard a riff in his head and sang it into his phone. The riff later became the song Stone. Alice in Chains played their first concert in nearly 10 months and their first concert after Cantrell's shoulder surgery at the Wistar Casino in Thackerville, Oklahoma on the 13th of August, 2011. The band's only concert in 2012 was a 5-song acoustic set on the 31st of May at the 8th annual MusiCares Mac Fund benefit concert honoring Jerry Cantrell. On the 4th of December, 2012, Cantrell confirmed that the new album had been completed. The first single, Hollow, debuted online on the 18th of December, available for digital download in January 2013, along with an official music video. On the 13th of February 2013, Alice in Chains posted on Facebook that their new album title would be an anagram of the letters H, V, L, E, N, T, P, S, U, S, D, A, H, I, E, E, O, E, D, T, I, U, R, R. The next day they announced that the album would be called The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, which was released on the 28th of May, 2013, and debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. To promote the album, Alice in Chains teamed up with Funny or Die for an 11-minute mockumentary titled AIC-23, in which film studies professor Alan Poole McLeod played by W. Earl Brown attempts to make a documentary on Alice in Chains without any help from the actual band, interviewing other musicians instead. Among them are country singer Donnie Skeeter Dollar-Eye Jr. played by Jerry Cantrell, reggae singer Nestor Cleveland played by William Duval, black metal musician Unter Gleben Glaben Globen Globin played by Mike Inez and the hipster Stanley Eisen played by Sean Kinney. The video was released on the 3rd of April, 2013, and also features cameos by Ann and Nancy Wilson from Heart, Mike McCready from Pearl Jam, Kim Thayil from Soundgarden, Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, Brent Hines and Bill Kellier from Mastodon, and Lars Ulrich and Robert Trujillo from Metallica. In June 2013, the band released a pinball game app for iOS as part of Pinball Rock's HD compilation, featuring the single Hollow, the band's logo and the album artwork, as well as references to the band's previous albums such as Jar of Flies and the self-titled record. The band released videos for the songs Hollow, Stone, Voices, the title track and Phantom Limb. Hollow and Stone reached number 1 on Billboard's mainstream rock tracks, while Voices reached number 3, and each one of the 3 songs stayed on the chart for 20 weeks. The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Engineered Album, Non-Classical in 2014. Alice in Chains toured extensively in the US, Canada, and Europe in 2013 and 2014. In May 2013, the band co-headlined the annual MMRBQ Festival with Soundgarden in Camden, New Jersey. On the 18th of January 2015, Alice in Chains performed in the halftime show of the NFC Championship game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. Cantrell is a lifelong Seahawks fan and often attends their games. In August 2015, bassist Mike Inez said that the band had been throwing around riffs for a new record and taking it nice and slow. The band toured in the summer of 2015 and the summer of 2016, including select shows opening for Guns N' Roses as part of the Not in This Lifetime tour. The band finished their 2016 tour with a concert at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino in Reno, Nevada on the 8th of October 2016. In November 2016, Alice in Chains released a cover of the Rush song Tears, which was included in the 40th anniversary release of the album 2112. The home video Live Facelift was released on vinyl for the first time on the 25th of November 2016, as part of Record Store Day's Black Friday event. The album features 6 songs and only 5,000 copies were issued. To celebrate the 10th anniversary of Record Store Day, on the 22nd of April 2017, Legacy Recordings released Get Born Again, What the Hell Have I?, a special 45 RPM double-7 single featuring 4 tracks remastered and available on vinyl for the first time. What the Hell Have I?, A Little Bitter, Get Born Again, and Died. 2017-2021. Rainier Fog. In January 2017, Mike Inez stated in an interview that the band had begun work on a new album. In June 2017, it was reported that the band would return to Studio X, formerly Bad Animals Studios in Seattle, to record a new album later that month, for a tentative early 2018 release. The sessions were helmed by Nick Raskulinecz, who produced the band's last 2 albums. Studio X was the studio where Alice in Chains recorded its 1995 self-titled album. According to Inez, the band was not signed to a label, having completed its previous 2-record contract with the Universal Music Group. The band started recording their 6th studio album on the 12th of June, 2017. On the 11th of January, 2018, producer Nick Raskulinecz announced via Instagram that the album was nearly finished and that there was only one more day left of recording. During an interview with Guitar World published on the 11th of April, 2018, Jerry Cantrell said that the album was recorded at 4 studios. After recording at Studio X in Seattle, the band went to Nashville to record vocals and lead guitars at Nick Raskulinecz's home studio. But Cantrell had to take an unexpected break from work for a couple of weeks after getting sick on a trip to Cabo for Sammy Hagar's birthday. Cantrell had the band's engineer, Paul Figueroa, come into his house and record a lot of his vocals and solos there. The band finished recording the album at the Henson Recording Studios in Los Angeles. Cantrell also said he expected the album to be released probably sometime this summer. At the press room of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony on the 14th of April, 2018, Cantrell revealed that Alice in Chains had just signed with BMG, and that they had finished mixing their new album. Alice in Chains did not perform live in 2017. The band performed their first concert since October 2016 at the House of Blues in Boston on the 28th of April, 2018. In May 2018, Alice in Chains headlined the festival's Carolina Rebellion, Lunatic Luau, Point Fest, Northern Invasion, the WMMR Barbecue Festival in Philadelphia, and the Rock on the Range Festival in Columbus, Ohio on the 18th of May, 2018, in which they paid tribute to Chris Cornell on the first anniversary of his death, covering two Soundgarden songs to close their set, Hunted Down and Boot Camp, respectively. At the end of the show, the lights on stage spelled out C for Chris Cornell and G for Soundgarden as feedback rang out. The band started their European tour in June 2018, and headlined the Tons of Rock Festival in Norway alongside Ozzy Osbourne and Halloween. Alice in Chains are also scheduled to headline Keist's Pain in the Grass Festival in August 2018. The band released a new single, The One You Know, via Spotify, Amazon and iTunes on the 3rd of May 2018. A music video directed by Adam Mason was released on YouTube the same day. The One You Know peaked at number 9 on Billboard's mainstream rock chart. During an interview with Eddie Trunk on Trunk Nation on the 7th of May 2018, Jerry Cantrell said that the new album would be released at the end of August 2018. The band also revealed that they talked to director Adam Mason, who is making a dark sci-fi film, about doing two separate pieces of art and maybe molding them together, and that the music video for The One You Know is the first chapter of molding Mason's film and the band's music videos together. The second single, So Far Under, was released on Alice in Chains' YouTube channel and on streaming platforms on the 27th of June, 2018. It was also announced that the album would be titled Rainier Fog, with the release date scheduled for the 24th of August, 2018. The album's artwork and the track listing were also revealed on the same day. Jerry Cantrell told Rolling Stone that the title Rainier Fog was inspired by the Mount Rainier in Seattle, and the title track is a tribute to the Seattle music scene. This song is a little homage to all of that, where we come from, who we are, all of the triumphs, all of the tragedies, lives lived. The album's third single, Never Fade, was released on the 10th of August, 2018, through digital and streaming services. The song is a tribute dedicated to frontman William Duvall's grandmother, Chris Cornell, and Alice in Chains' original singer Lane Staley. Never Fade peaked at number 10 on Billboard's mainstream rock chart. A music video directed by Adam Mason was released on the 1st of November, 2018, and continued the storyline from the music video of The One You Know. On the 20th of August, 2018, the baseball team Seattle Mariners hosted a special Alice in Chains night at the Safeco Field in Seattle to promote Rainier Fog, with the team offering the fans a package that included a Safeco Field Terrace Club ticket, access to a pre-game listening party of the album, an Alice in Chains t-shirt and a Rainier Fog CD. Jerry Cantrell also threw out the ceremonial first pitch and delivered a strike before the Seattle Mariners vs. Houston Astros game. To mark the launch of the album, on the 21st of August, 2018, Alice in Chains performed an acoustic set at the top of Seattle's Space Needle and debuted the song Fly. Alice in Chains were the first band to perform on the Space Needle's new loop glass floor, the world's first and only revolving glass floor 500 feet high. The concert was exclusive for an audience of SiriusXM subscribers. SiriusXM broadcast the concert on their channel Lithium on the 31st of August, 2018. On the 22nd of August, 2018, Alice in Chains sent fans on a scavenger hunt to access a secret gig that the band would be performing in Seattle on the 24th of August. 10 signed CD copies of Rainier Fog were hidden around the city as a ticket into the show, and the band asked the fans to keep an eye on their Instagram story for details on the 10 hidden locations. Once all 10 albums were found, the band revealed that the secret gig would be at the rock club The Crocodile, with limited tickets available with the purchase of their album at a pop-up event at the same venue the next day. Preview clips of each of the album tracks were posted on the band's Instagram. The band also commemorated the release of the album with a pop-up museum installation at the Crocodile in Seattle on August the 23rd and 24th. The museum featured rare Alice in Chains photos, limited edition merchandise and memorabilia that showcased the band's 30-plus year career. Rainier Fog and Last Episode, All I Am, was released on the 17th of July, 2019. The official music video for Rainier Fog was released on YouTube on the 15th of May, 2019, and was co-directed by Alice in Chains and Peter Darley Miller, who also directed the band's 2013 mockumentary, AIC 23. On the 1st of December, 2020, Alice in Chains was honored with the Founders Award from Seattle's Museum of Pop Culture. The benefit concert featured tribute performances from artists such as Ann Wilson, Can, Metallica, Fishbone, Dallas Green, Billy Corgan, Tad Doyle, members of Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, among others. The event was made available for streaming for free and raised more than $600,000 for the museum in its first night. A compilation featuring highlights from the tribute was made available for streaming on Amazon Music. 2022 present. Upcoming 7th studio album. In an April 2022 interview, vocalist William Duvall revealed that he was sure Alice in Chains would begin working on their 7th studio album later in the year. However, in March 2023, Duvall stated there were no plans for new Alice in Chains music. Artistry. Musical style. Although Alice in Chains has been labeled grunge by the mainstream media, Jerry Cantrell identifies the band as primarily heavy metal. Metal, blues, rock and roll, a touch of punk. Over the course of their career, the band's sound has also been described as alternative metal, sludge metal, alternative rock, doom metal, and hard rock. Furthermore, the band have also incorporated styles including blues rock, folk rock, funk metal and jangle pop into their music. Drummer Sean Kinney rejects the grunge label. Influences. The band are influenced to a great extent by English metal music. In 2018, Black Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi, Deep Purple, Metallica, Elton John. In addition, members of Alice in Chains have cited artists including AC/DC, Accept, Aerosmith, The Beatles, Black Flag, David Bowie, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Dio, Funkadelic, Hanoi Rocks, Heart, Jimi Hendrix, Iron Maiden, Jethro Tull, King's X, Kiss, Led Zeppelin, LYNYRD, Metallica, Steve Miller, Eddie Money, Motorhead, Mudhoney, Ted Nugent, Pink Floyd, The Pixies, Queen, Queensryche, The Rolling Stones, Rush, Scorpions, Soundgarden, The Stooges, Television, Thin Lizzy, Robin Trower, U2, UFO, Van Halen, The Velvet Underground, Hank Williams, and ZZ Top as influential or inspirational. Instrumentation and lyrics. Jerry Cantrell's guitar style combines pummeling riffs and expansive guitar textures to create slow, brooding minor key grinds. He is also recognized for his natural ability to blend acoustic and electric guitars. While down-tuned, distorted guitars mixed with Staley's distinctive snarl to A-screen vocals appealed to heavy metal fans. The band also had a sense of melody that was undeniable, which introduced Alice in Chains to a much wider audience outside of the heavy metal underground. 3 of the band's releases feature acoustic music, and while the band initially kept these releases separate, Alice in Chains' self-titled album combined the styles to form a bleak, nihilistic sound that balanced grinding hard rock with subtly textured acoustic numbers. Alice in Chains is also noted for the unique vocal harmonies of Staley or Duvall and Cantrell, which included overlapping passages, dual lead vocals, and trademark harmonies typically separated by a major third. Staley's songs were often considered dark, with themes such as drug abuse, depression, and suicide, while Cantrell's lyrics often dealt with personal relationships. Legacy. Rankings. Alice in Chains has sold over 19 million records in the United States, and over 30 million records worldwide, released 2 '1 albums, had 23 top 40 singles, and has received 11 Grammy Award nominations. The band was ranked number 34 on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Hard Rock. Alice in Chains was named 15th Greatest Live Band by Hit Parader, with Staley placing as 27th Greatest Heavy Metal Vocalist of all time. The band's second album, Dirt, was named 5th Best Album in the last 2 decades by Close Up magazine in 2008. In October 2008, Guitar World ranked Cantrell's solo in Man in the Box at number 77 on their list of 100 greatest guitar solos. In August 2009, Alice in Chains won the Kerrang! Icon Award. In November 2011, Jar of Flies was ranked number 4 on Guitar World magazine's top 10 list of guitar albums of 1994. It was also featured in Guitar World magazine's Super Unknown 50 Iconic Albums That Defined 1994 list, and in May 2014, the EP was placed at number 5 on Loudwire's 10 Best Hard Rock Albums of 1994 list. In June 2017, Metal Injection ranked Alice in Chains at number 1 on their list of 10 heaviest grunge bands. Ozzy Osbourne ranked Facelift among his list of 10 favorite metal albums. Influence. Pantra and Damageplan guitarist Dimebag Darrell had expressed his admiration for Cantrell's guitar work in an interview for Guitar International in 1995. Street musician Wesley Willis wrote a song about the band entitled Alice in Chains, featured on his 1996 album Feel the Power. Billy Corgan revealed that the song Bleeding the Orchid from the Smashing Pumpkins' 2007 album Zeitgeist has a bit of an homage to Alice in Chains in the harmonies and was indirectly inspired by the death of Staley. Elton John stated that he is a fan of Alice in Chains and a big admirer of Cantrell. Godsmack was named after the Alice in Chains song Godsmack from the album Dirt. Staind has covered Alice in Chains' song Nut Shall Live, which appears on the compilation The Singles, 1996 to 2006, and also wrote a song entitled Lane, dedicated to Staley, on the album 14 Shades of Grey. 3 Days Grace also performs a cover of Rooster, which can be seen on the DVD Live at the Palace. Other bands that have been influenced by Alice in Chains include 10 Years, Avenged Sevenfold, Breaking Benjamin, Bush, Creed, Dallas Green, Days of the New, Disturbed, Who Bastunk, Incubus. Album The String Quartet Tribute to Alice in Chains, featuring instrumental versions on viola, violin and cello of 12 of the band's biggest hits. Media. In August 2015, journalist David DeSola published the biography Alice in Chains, The Untold Story. An updated version covering the period from 2014 to 2017 was published in November 2018. Neither the band nor their management had any involvement with the book. Sources tied directly to the band were interviewed instead. The claymation dolls of the band members used in the music video for I Stay Away are on display at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum in Cleveland, Ohio. Band members. Current members. Jerry Cantrell. Lead guitar, lead and backing vocals, rhythm guitar. William Duval rhythm guitar, lead and backing vocals. Mike Inez. Bass, backing vocals. Sean Kinney drums, percussion, backing vocals. Former members. Lane Staley. Lead vocals, occasional rhythm guitar. Mike Starr. Bass, backing vocals. Discography. Studio albums. Facelift. 1990 Dirt. 1992 Alice in Chains. 1995 Black Gives Way to Blue. 2009 The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. 2013 Rainier Fog. 2018